As an HR professional, it's easy to lose track of things when you're balancing dueling priorities. Losing sight of your goals, forgetting where you left off, feeling like you're spinning your wheels. All of those are actually pretty normal feelings to have. Today, we're talking about some HR productivity hacks that you can tap into to make sure you're making the most of your time so that you're not letting these things slip. Hey, this is Brittany Graddick, CEO and founder of Talented Teams Consulting, and welcome back to today's video. Today, we're talking about HR productivity hacks that you can use as an HR professional to take your career to the very next level. I work primarily with solo HR practitioners to help you to go from a chaotic environment to an environment where you're feeling like you're in more control. I know that is the secret sauce to building your career, taking your career to the very next level, because it worked for me and I'm confident it can happen for you as well. If this video topic sounds interesting to you, and if you like videos just like this, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to this channel for more videos just like this. We're continuing this summer series about working smarter, not harder, finding ways to tap into productivity in this way. And I'm inspired by the summer season. When I worked as an HR department of one myself for about 5 years, I remember what it felt like specifically in the summer season. Everyone around me was taking off, vacationing, cruising, and I was still in the office. And it reminds me of the story of the grasshopper and the ant. If you don't know that story, Google it and you can find a quick summary or a quick story about it. But essentially, the story about the grasshopper and the ant is, the grasshopper and the ant, I guess they're friends, and then over the summer break, the grasshopper wants to relax and just rest and kick back. But in contrast, what the ant does instead, the ant is still working. The ant is still storing up things they need. The ant is still being productive. So then when the winter comes, the grasshopper is out of luck. The grasshopper needs help from the ant. And the ant has all these things in storage. They're able to help the grasshopper. That story really reminds me of this season specifically for HR professionals and solo HR practitioners specifically, because I feel like during this season, everybody's taking off, and that's not a bad thing to take off. If you have it in your schedule to be able to do that, do that. If you're able to take time off your job, please take that time off. But for those of you who are not able to take that time off, or you see people around you taking off time that you cannot take, use this time to really get your systems in place. I am confident, looking back over my career, I'm confident that those summers where I worked hard and I was storing up things and I was fixing my systems and I was making new processes, that's what led me to the level where I am today. So I started my career as an unpaid intern. And then after that, I worked as a HR department one for about 5 years. Today, I lead 3 departments. So not only HR, but also compliance and also training and learning. And none of that could have been possible if I wouldn't have put in systems for myself, had tools and techniques for myself to be able to be more productive and get to my maximum productivity. As you tune into this series and you catch the rest of the videos before this, the thing I want you to remember is this is the time to work hard today to prepare for tomorrow. Do the hard things today so that tomorrow will be easier. Hack number 1, you want to make sure you are minimizing your distractions as much as you can. In order to minimize the distraction, you have to first know what it is. So you have to be able to identify it, but then you have to figure out how can you eliminate it. For example, if you know that your coworkers around you are noisy, again, use this summer season to work more effectively and more efficiently without them being in the office. But say you still work around noisy coworkers today, what can you do? You can either have a conversation with a noisy coworker and tell them politely. And if you want to work with me together one-on-one, I can tell you how to have that conversation, because it's going to be different person to person. Or maybe you want to come up with a different system for your department. For example, maybe you have noisy coworkers. Maybe you want to come up with a system between you and that coworker or coworkers and say, listen, hey, if you're working and you want to be uninterrupted, what's your signal for working uninterrupted? Come up with a plan so that all of you around you can understand that sometimes it's okay to chat. Sometimes it's okay to talk to each other, but sometimes you need to dial into what you're working on. So work with those around you and don't let it feel like it's you against them, but work together to come up with a solution. Sometimes the distractions around us are not other people's fault. So if we create our own distractions, the email goes off, our phone goes off, we get notifications from here and there. So we have to minimize our own distractions ourselves, whether that's putting yourself on a schedule to check your emails, putting your phone on silent mode to only let certain notifications come across your desk during a certain window of time. Again, it's going to be your choice of what you decide to do when you're trying to minimize these distractions, but just letting the distractions run wild is not a solution. Get control of your day, and it's going to help you work more effectively. Another hack is to use techniques that you pick up along the way. For example, using the Pomodoro technique to work in kind of sprints. Maybe you work for 25 minutes straight and you focus, but then you take a short break, and then you work again, and then you take a short break, and then you work again, and you take a short break. So again, figure out different tools and techniques that you can use. You don't have to come up with all in your head. Nothing new is under the sun. So read things, learn things, understand there's so many ways to get your work done efficiently, and just tap into those things. Another hack, set goals for yourself. How can you be productive if you're not getting things done? How can you be productive if you don't know what you're getting done? So don't just set goals for yourself. Make sure those goals are SMART goals. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Get very, very specific with the goals that you set so that you can also reward yourself when you achieve them. And oftentimes when we're talking about workplace productivity, we think about things in the building, things that are happening with other people, things that are happening with your day-to-day work. But you cannot talk about a productivity hack without also talking about checking your own self-care. This is going to lead to maintaining your own physical and mental well-being. So that goes to making sure you get enough sleep. Make sure your nutrition is in line. Make sure you're moving a lot. So doing all these things to keep your cup full is going to be what's necessary to make sure you're as productive. Think about it. If you're feeling worn out, drained before you even step into the office, how productive will you be? All these tips and tools are helpful, but it won't happen if you don't plan for them to happen. I say it all the time. Your job today is the easiest that it's ever going to be. If you know that you want to grow your career, you know you want to do more things and serve more people and actually lead people in the future, your job is going to get more and more difficult, more and more hard. You're going to have more and more time in meetings and less time to do the tactical action-based work. So this is the time to start figuring out ways to build techniques and tools to make sure you work more effectively. And it's not going to happen if you don't plan for it. So if you need a planner or a tool to help you to organize your day, I've created my Thriving in HR planner that is my highest recommendation. It's a culmination of my 15 years of experience into one document. So it's 170 plus page planner. You can download a PDF or you can purchase a hard copy from Amazon. But whatever way you decide to do, it's going to allow you to not only plan your days, your weeks, your months, but also build in your self-care activities. Each week you get a new affirmation to pour into yourself, opportunities to reflect on not only what's going on that week, but also what's going on that month. How are you doing month to month? How are you achieving your goals? How are you taking care of yourself? All of those things are included in the planner, and it's my highest recommendation. So what's your favorite productivity hack? Leave your comment down below and share it with the group. Hope this video has inspired you to take action and do something different, to work not only with purpose, but on purpose. If you have any questions for me, if I can serve you at a higher level, never hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to serve you. Talk to you in the next video. Bye.